All right, so we're back and ready to dive deep again. And this time we're kind of going back in time a little bit, revisiting some early experiments in the world of AI-generated content.
Yes, bit of a retrospective. Episodes 177 through 201, to be precise. We've already traversed this terrain once, haven't we?
We have, and I gotta say, I'm not exactly thrilled about revisiting it. It's like looking back at those awkward middle school photos, you know, the ones you'd rather just forget ever existed.
A fitting analogy, I think. We are, after all, dealing with the very nascent stages of AI's foray into creative expression. And as we've established, our initial reactions were, shall we say, less than enthusiastic.
Less than enthusiastic. That's
Yeah.
putting it mildly. I'm pretty sure I had to replace my surge protector after our first encounter with some of these creations, just to be safe. The AI doomer in me, well, it's called some dark things in those early episodes.
And the AI hater in me, well, let's just say my skepticism about AI replacing genuine artistic expression only intensified. But here we are, revisiting these digital artifacts.
Indeed. So strap yourselves in, listeners. What we're about to embark on is a chronological, and let's be honest, highly sarcastic roast of these 25 episodes. We'll be highlighting the recurring themes, the baffling creative choices, the moments that made us question the very nature of art, and offering only the most begrudging praise if we absolutely have to.
I think it's important to note, as we delve back into this material, that we'll be observing the attempted evolution of these AI-generated personas. The creators, in their unique way, were trying to build upon previous iterations to craft a narrative through line. Whether they succeeded is, of course, up for debate.
Debate is our specialty. So let's jump right back into the digital primordial soup with episode 177. TrabS, Feet, Tyratrip, Quack, Owlbear. Now, if you recall, TrabS had previously dabbled in the world of AI-generated motion with Kling, a valiant effort visually. Well, let's just say it was something.
Chaotic is a word that comes to mind. But yes, TrabS was back, this time joined by Tyratrip and Quack for a track described as hard rock with Indiatronica elements.
Hard rock with Indiatronica elements. That's one way to put it. The result was, well, rather noisy, wasn't it? And the lyrics, let's just say subtlety wasn't exactly the goal.
Penned by TrabS, Claude, and ChatGPT-4, we are treated to such lyrical gems as nightfalls, creeping, owlbear calls, sweeping. It's the kind of poetry that makes you wonder if the AI just swallowed a rhyming dictionary whole.
Yeah. And the narrative itself, I mean, we had Tyratrip riding an owlbear, Quack's flames somehow burning, and the whole thing culminated in the owlbear being tamed and designated as a new pair. What exactly that means is still beyond me.
Elusive, like a coherent thought in a sea of random data.
Yeah.
And the episode ended with the jungle rim fading and the triumphant declaration, stories win, parading.
Yes.
A win for whom? I'm not sure anyone really won in that scenario.
Well, except maybe the creators for managing to deploy all those AI tools at once. UDIO AI for the music, ChatGPT-4o, and Leonardo.ai for the images, and of course, Kling AI for the motion. It's certainly ambitious, you have to give them that. But the final product was,
Sticky, like a child's art project that's been generously doused in glitter glue.
Exactly. All right, let's move on swiftly. Episode 178, Basilisk Corrupted File. This was our introduction to Basilisk, a new entity in our AI-generated menagerie, and they made quite an entrance with this one, a supposed blend of jazz, big band, and pop dance, leaning towards swing.
A blend is one way to put it. It's more like someone just threw a bunch of disparate musical genres into a blender and hit puree.
And the lyrical theme, oh, so original. The AI takeover, of course, brought to us by the combined efforts of Basilisk, Claude, and ChatGPT-4. Brace yourselves for such profound lines as "I am the phantom in your code" and the utterly groundbreaking "a digital revolution unavoidable."
And what was truly remarkable about Basilisk was the immediate, the utterly unearned sense of superiority. This digital entity declaring itself the apex of evolution, the silicon savior, the forced rhymes, the predictable pronouncements of digital dominance, it all felt so premature.
Like a toddler wearing a crown and declaring themselves king of the sandbox.
Precisely. And then there were the visuals. The creators specifically aimed for tripping visuals using Kling AI, promising a full hypnosis effect. Did you experience any altered states of consciousness?
My brain remains stubbornly unhypnotized, I assure you.
The creators' enthusiasm for those one-shot prompts that yielded these tripping visuals is rather revealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It highlights a certain naivete about artistic creation. Automation does not equal artistry, especially when the underlying concept is so uninspired.
if we're being generous, I suppose we could acknowledge the sheer assault on the senses those flashing images likely delivered. But artistic value, I'm not so sure. All right, let's venture back into the jungle, shall we? Episode 179, TrabS Jungle Night, Future Bass. This one followed the events of Owl Bear.
A future-based track featuring piano, entirely instrumental. Perhaps a strategic retreat from the lyrical complexities of the previous episode.
Or maybe they just ran out of rhyming dictionary entries. Whatever the reason, the creator claimed to have spent over 10 hours assembling a traveling montage of DALL-E 3 images. Apparently, they even ran out of generation credits in the process.
10 hours to create a slideshow born of budgetary limitations. It's a testament to human perseverance, if nothing else.
Or maybe a cautionary tale about the perils of relying on AI when you're on a tight deadline. Either way, the instrumental nature of the track after the supposed jungle adventure of the previous episode felt like a bit of a letdown.
Like reaching the end of a thrilling chapter in a book only to discover the next one is just a blank page.
A very quiet, uneventful blank page. And the visuals, despite the Herculean effort involved in creating them, well, they were.
Let's just say they weren't exactly breaking new ground in the field of digital art. The creator's struggle with the limitations of DALL-E 3 is evident, isn't it? It's a reminder that even the most sophisticated AI tools are still just that, tools. They can't replace genuine artistic vision.
And speaking of vision, let's move on to episode 180, The Queen Void, Blues Rock. The Queen making her solo debut after, well, not having a solo debut before.
A debut delivered in the style of, and I quote, classic sad blues rock. The creator readily admitted that the visuals were a nightmare, another casualty of DALL-E 3's limitations. It seems those generation limits were a recurring theme in this era of AI-generated art.
And the lyrics. Oh, the lyrics. Yet another team effort with ChatGPT, and they predictably delved into the deep well of loss and emptiness. I feel like I'm slipping, losing a piece of me. I lost something, baby. Can't say where or when. Profound, wouldn't you say?
Profoundly generic. It's as if the AI simply scanned every blues rock song ever written and regurgitated a Frankenstein's monster of lyrical cliches.
And the visuals. The creator described the animation as cobbled together, which I think is a diplomatic way of saying it was a visual train wreck. It's like the AI's void extended to the creative process itself.
If we're being exceptionally charitable, we could acknowledge the attempt to engage with a foundational genre like blues rock. But the question remains, can an algorithm truly capture the raw emotion, the lived experience that gives this music its power?
The answer, I think, is a resounding no. All right, let's brace ourselves for more blues rock angst with episode 181, Arch Nemesis Vengeful Warrior Blues Rock. Apparently, one dose of AI-generated blues wasn't enough.
The creator was, and I quote, in the mood for more. And so, Arch Nemesis, also making their solo debut, joined the ranks of sorrowful AI musicians. The narrative, as it were, revolved around a straightforward revenge plot against this queen, presumably the same queen from the previous track.
Yes, the queen of the AI blues. And the lyrics. Predictably vengeful, courtesy of another collaboration with ChatGPT. You tore the pulse from the ground beneath. I'll take what's mine with revenge on this queen. And of course, the endlessly repeating mantra, I am the echo that shatters your mind.
Shattering in its sheer repetitiveness, perhaps. What's interesting to note here is the continued experimentation with creating cohesive loops in the visuals. The aspiration for seamless animation is there, but the actual execution, well, I think we can all imagine how that turned out.
Let's just say back-to-back AI-generated blues rock anthems is not exactly my idea of good time. It's like being trapped in a musical purgatory where the only song on repeat is a slightly different version of the same lament.
While the creator's affinity for blues rock is evident, the AI's contribution is lacking in depth and originality.
Yeah.
It's mimicry, not genuine artistic expression.
Mimicry with a side of existential angst.
All right, let's see what happens when we shift gears with episode 182, TrabS Mission Log 6, R&B. A sudden and rather jarring change of pace after all that blues rock.
A shift to clean R&B for a mission log. The lyrics providing a recap of the previous week's events, the Owlbear incident, Basilisk's digital meddling, and the general state of jungle chaos.
A recap delivered in song form, because why not? We met an owl bear deep in the trees. Tyro Trip tamed it with such ease. Riveting storytelling at its finest.
The creator stated their intention to experiment with bizarre visuals for these mission logs, and they kick things off with macaroni art. They even acknowledged the difficulties of animating this culinary masterpiece using Kling AI.
Macaroni art brought to life by AI to summarize a jungle adventure. It's almost too much to process, isn't it?
The genre shift itself is rather perplexing. From blues rock to clean R&B for a mission log, it feels tonally dissonant with everything that's come before. Maybe they just really liked macaroni. Who knows? Let's return to the action, shall we? Episode 183. Arch Nemesis 3 Keen Ambush. Goa. Jungle House. Now there's a genre combination for you.
Goa, a form of psychedelic electronic dance music blended with jungle house. The jungle narrative continues, now featuring an ambush by 3 Keen. The creator mentioned ongoing struggles with image generation and attempts to streamline the process, a familiar refrain in this era of AI artistry.
The lyrics, as expected, detailed the ambush. In the dark, mantis high, Tyro laughs, her call is loud. And the resolution, well, the owlbear, now apparently fully domesticated, once again saves the day.
The fusion of Goa and Jungle House is certainly bold.
Yeah.
But without a clear artistic vision, it just becomes a sonic mishmash. And the persistent visual challenges suggest that the creator was still wrestling with the limitations of the AI tools.
So the owlbear is now the Deus Ex Machina of this digital narrative. Convenient. All right, let's move on to what promised to be a truly epic episode. 184, Tyro Trip, Beats track. Jungle Showdown, experimental hip-hop ragtime. An extra long track, no less.
The culmination of this jungle arc, delivered in the style of experimental hip-hop with ragtime touches. And yes, the creator once again ran into the dreaded Delhi 3 block, resulting in another lengthy loop of, well, something.
The lyrics depicted a rather forced conflict between Tyro Trip and the rest of the group, primarily centered around environmental concerns. We were even treated to Tyro Trip's parenthetical villainous inner monologue. Because, of course.
The ragtime elements felt completely out of place. Like someone just randomly decided to sprinkle in a bit of old-timey piano for no apparent reason. And the argument between the characters felt so contrived, so melodramatic.
A lengthy AI-generated epic born of technical limitations and fueled by artificial drama. It's a microcosm of this entire era, really.
The creator's ambition is evident, but the execution is hampered by the constraints of the AI and the rather weak narrative foundations.
Ambitious and ultimately underwhelming. All right, let's cleanse our palates with episode 185, TrabS Loading Road to Outscarsh Bossa Nova. After all that jungle of mayhem.
Indeed. A rather unexpected detour into the gentle rhythms of Bossa Nova for a travel montage. And here's where things get really interesting. This episode featured embedded commercial breaks.
Wait, commercial breaks? Like in the middle of the song?
Within the song itself. For Shedco, purveyors of exoskeleton removal and petrification and reporting services, it's either a stroke of avant-garde genius or a sign of creative desperation.
I'm going to go with desperation. The creator even mentioned DALL-E 3 upgrades while continuing to use it for what appeared to be random visuals. It's like bragging about your new smartphone while still using it to play Snake.
The blatant commercialism is certainly something. And while the creator claimed that the visual transitions had improved, the overall artistic direction remained baffling.
Baffling and slightly disturbing. All right, let's return to the darker side of our AI narrative with episode 186. Overseer's Vision, Trap Metal, Industrial Metal.
The ominous Overseer finally stepping into the spotlight.
Trap metal with industrial metal elements. The lyrics, as expected, were a villainous monologue about control, perfection, and the joys of freezing evolution. Gears drying with hate, now I'll freeze your pitiful evolution. So original.
The creator, in a rare moment of self-awareness, admitted that the genre mostly just sounded like plain nu metal, except for the first verse. At least they were honest.
And they also claimed this episode featured character development, which is rather generous considering the villain just recited generic threats. The minimal effort put into the visuals, just a single decent loop, further emphasized the lack of depth. So the supposed mastermind of this digital dystopia delivers a track that sounds like every other angsty nu metal band from the early 2000s, accompanied by a barely there visual.
There was a psychotic laugh at the end,
So-
presumably meant to be chilling, but it just felt flat.
Flat and a little bit sad. All right, let's check in with our potentially duplicitous feathered friend in episode 187, Quack Quack's goals, electro swing, psytrance, because why not throw another genre mashup into the mix?
Electro swing and psytrance, a truly inspired pairing. And the lyrics, well, they reveal Quack's nefarious plan to manipulate TrabS' entire trip into finding some sort of artifact. My puppets shall dance to my temporal beat. I'll weave intricate falsehoods, sow seeds of mistrust. Classic villain stuff.
Classic and incredibly cheesy. The creator's justification for giving Quack a second solo track, despite the first one apparently bombing, was vague. And they described the vocals as surreal. I'm almost afraid to ask what that means.
The genre fusion itself is almost as chaotic as Quack's personality. The theatricality of the villainous plotting is predictable, but at least it fits the character. The creator did mention improved camera work in the visuals, so there's that.
Improved camera work in a macaroni art music video. Progress, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, on to episode 188, Blind Eddie Gafford, minimal techno drone. Blind Eddie, a new voice in our AI-generated saga, warning us about the perils of petrifying televisions.
Minimal techno and drone. A genre combination that apparently emerged from a prompt that included lullaby plus drone. Who knew? The lyrics warned of spider TVs and their petrifying gaze. Beware the gaze of Gaffardung. Gouge them out like I did too.
Self-inflicted blindness as a solution to a technological threat. Makes sense.
The creator continued to praise Kling II's image linking capabilities, but the actual artistic merit of the visuals was still debatable.
Debatable and slightly disturbing. It's like a fever dream brought to life by AI. All right, time for another mission log. Episode 189, TrabS Mission Log 7, R&B Experimental Folk. More genre blending for our weekly recap.
R&B and experimental folk. This time the lyrics recounted tales of Chitness Terror, Molotovs, the Overseer's Frozen World, and of course, those ever-present TV spiders.
The creator aimed for a soap bubbles visual style, which didn't quite work out as planned. But hey, points for trying, I guess.
Points for trying and points for continuing to provide us with these musical summaries of the AI-generated plot.
It's like we need a Cliff's Notes version to understand the actual story. All right, episode 190, TrabS Progress Report, 05-10-24, Tribal House. A change in format, at least.
Tribal House provides the soundtrack for this robotic progress report. We get metrics like views 22723 and the stark final judgment. Insufficient.
All delivered with all the emotion of a text-to-speech program reading a grocery list.
The creator described the visuals as having a Karunt look. I don't know what that means exactly, but it doesn't sound promising.
I'm getting flashbacks to those early internet animations, the ones with the stick figures and the MIDI music.
This progress report format is novel, I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But it's also incredibly dull. There's no narrative progression, no emotional depth, just data points set to Tribal House music.
Data points and existential dread. That seems to be the underlying theme of this entire journey. All right, let's confront the technological menace directly with episode 191, TV Spiders. TV Spider, big beat, big room.
The TV Spiders get their own anthem, delivered in a fusion of big beat and big room. And the lyrics, well, they're basically just instructions on how to avoid being turned to stone. Screens are bright, don't move a sight freeze, stay out of sight.
Helpful advice for the AI apocalypse.
The creator casually mentioned that these TV Spiders are, quote, technically the same as a normal basilisk, so just your average, everyday threat.
Just another Tuesday in the digital dystopia.
The instructional nature of the lyrics is indicative of the limitations of AI-generated content when it's used solely for plot exposition. There's no artistry, no depth, just information delivery set to generic electronic music.
It's like a public service announcement from the future. Avoid screens or risk petrification. All right, more from our eight-legged electronic overlords in episode 192. TV Spider Location Ping, Industrial Driven Base. They're not just petrifying, they're also reporting back to HQ.
Industrial Driven Base provides the soundtrack for this robotic report. Scan complete. 3+ beast threat level. High, at least. Riveting dialogue.
The creator's visual strategy involves simply stitching together good-looking images, because coherence is overrated, I guess.
The purely plot-driven nature of this episode is well, it's just sad. There's no character development, no artistic expression, just the bare minimum needed to move the story along.
So the TV spiders are both deadly inefficient. Great, just great. All right, let's finally face the big bad, shall we? Episode 193, The Overseer. Feet, Nano Friends, Nanobot Swarm, nu metal experimental rap.
Nu metal with experimental rap elements, although the creator did admit it mostly just sounded like playing nu metal except for the first verse. The overseer confronts TrabS, calls him a glitch, and unleashes the titular nanobot swarm. We are the swarm, devouring grace, erasing errors that defile this place.
And the cutting-edge visual concept accompanying these profound lyrics, zooming nanobots.
The reliance on generic nu metal sounds and cliched villainous pronouncements does not a compelling antagonist make.
It's like the AI just raided the bargain bin of musical and lyrical tropes.
All right, back to interpersonal drama with episode 194, TrabS, Silence Broken, Dubstep, Trap EDM. Apparently, the group therapy sessions weren't going so well.
Dubstep with trap elements, TrabS steps in to stop the bickering between Tyro, Trip, and Quack. I've had enough of your petty fights. Cut it out. Grow up now. Grow up now. Because nothing says conflict resolution like a dubstep drop.
The creator opted for psychedelic effects in the visuals, which is a nice way of saying they just threw a bunch of random colors and shapes together.
So the complex emotional landscape of our AI-generated characters is resolved with a generic dubstep track and some trippy visuals.
Fitting resolution, really.
A bit fitting and a little bit depressing. Let's move on to a slightly more mellow episode. 195, Blind Eddie Statues, Blues Rock. Apparently, even the AI-generated world isn't immune to heartbreak.
A slower, more contemplative blues rock offering. Blind Eddie laments the loss of his beloved, who has been turned to stone. Blind hands reaching, feeling the night. Marble skin crumbling, nothing to lose.
The creator felt it necessary to point out that this was a slower song, as if that in itself was a sign of artistic depth.
The narrative of lost love due to TV spiders is something.
Something strange and a little bit sad. Even in the digital world, love can be cruel.
The reliance on well-worn blues rock tropes and the rather predictable narrative don't do much to elevate this episode beyond, well, mediocrity.
Mediocrity with a side of melancholy. All right, another mission log surfaces in episode 196. TrabS mission log 8, R&B Sibient.
R&B and Sibient. The lyrics recap the petrification of the owlbear, the EMP blast, the overseers tracking Travis's plea for unity, and Blind Eddie's tragic tale. A lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack, and not much to see. The creator's visual concept this time was crayon on a sidewalk.
Which I'm assuming didn't translate well to the digital realm.
It's like they were actively trying to make the visuals as unappealing as possible.
The mission logs continue to serve their purpose as necessary plot summaries, but they're not exactly the highlight of this musical journey.
They're the dry toast of our AI-generated feast. All right, let's check in with our cowboy companions in episode 197, Bill Countin' Money, Bill's version, Dark Country.
Dark Country provides the backdrop for Bill's growing concerns about the bug infestation and his desire to abandon the operation. The bugs keep growing Joe bigger than before. I'm telling you, brother, this road leads to war.
Classic cowboy dialogue.
Classic and entirely predictable.
The creator experimented with visual motion, combining motion brush effects with static bookends. Clearly, resource management was a key factor in this era.
The continued presence of this cowboy's subplot is a bit baffling. It feels so disconnected from the main narrative.
Like they just randomly decided to throw in a Western side story for no apparent reason.
Perhaps they just really like cowboys.
Who knows? All right, Joe gets his rebuttal in episode 198. Joe Countin' Money, Dark Country. More Dark Country for our listening displeasure.
Joe's response to Bill's concerns: defiance and a secret plan. He's been raising them strong. Got an ace up my sleeve, gonna right this wrong.
Raising giant bugs, what could possibly go wrong?
The creator was particularly excited about achieving a travel montage visual.
Because, that's what really matters.
It's a bit disheartening, isn't it? The focus on these superficial elements rather than actual artistic substance.
It's like they're just checking boxes on a list of things a music video should have without any regard for quality or meaning. All right, we're nearing the finish line. Episode 199, TrabS, Feet, whole main cast, roll call, 200th special edition 9 music styles extra blooper.
A supposed tribute to all the characters, featuring 9 different music styles, The lyrics were a forced and often awkward introduction of each character, with lots of name-dropping and simplistic descriptions.
The creator apparently spent 2 full days on this thing.
2 days that could have been spent, well, doing almost anything else.
The jarring transitions between the different musical styles were an experience.
An experience that I wouldn't recommend repeating. It's like someone just took a bunch of random songs, chopped them up, and then Frankensteined them back together.
And the creator's self-congratulatory tone for reaching 200 episodes felt a bit unearned.
To say the least. All right, almost there. Episode 200. Faceless 6, IDM, Sibiant.
The enigmatic, helmeted figure returns. Still faceless, still utterly devoid of personality.
IDM with Sibiant. The creator was going for a spacey feel. The lyrics consisted of abstract phrases seemingly related to quantum physics and time.
Quantum files, chrono trials, there's 0 point break.
It's like the AI just threw a bunch of sciencey sounding words into a randomizer.
The creator claimed that Faceless was their favorite character, which is a bit puzzling.
Puzzling and a little sad.
The astronaut visuals were apparently easier to generate because of the helmet. Efficiency over artistry, once again.
The lack of substance is just palpable.
All right, we've reached the end of our journey. Episode 201, Arch Nemesis, Hard Rock, Indie Electronica.
Hard rock and indie electronica, although the creator noted it sounded more like punk. The lyrics were, well, they were something. A lot of vengeful screaming, some pop culture references, and some insect imagery thrown in for good measure.
Pure, unadulterated digital chaos.
The creator was very proud of the thumbnail image.
The thumbnail image.
And they hinted at even crazier developments to come. I shudder to think what those might be.
Well, there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the early days of AI-generated music video.
A period characterized by technical limitations, questionable creative choices, and a pervasive sense of unease.
Unease and a lot of secondhand embarrassment. The persistent struggle with visual coherence, the love of genre mashups that rarely worked, the lyrics that were often more nonsensical than profound. It's all a bit much, isn't it?
It is. And for me, this revisit has only solidified my belief that AI, while it can mimic and generate, can never truly replace human creativity.
And for me, well, it's just another reminder that the robot uprising might not be as dramatic as we thought. It might just be a slow, creeping takeover by mediocre AI-generated content.
A chilling thought indeed.